John Adrian Knight was a nasty piece of work. He was initially convicted of assaulting a bus driver in 1983, and then his appeal against that conviction was dismissed in 1984. After these events, the police constable who arrested Knight, the stipendiary magistrate who convicted him, and the judge who refused his appeal all began receiving threatening phone calls. The phone calls were abusive and threatened death. The judgment includes some of the text from one of those calls, but if I was to try to repeat it here, I would end up with a content strike from YouTube. Suffice it to say that the threats and the language were disgusting and appalling, the sort of thing that could only be said by a human being who was truly a scumbag at the bottom of the barrel. Some of the calls were taken by the officials' wives or daughters, but Knight opened up on them too. He was charged, among other things, with 7 counts of assault. People outside the law often misunderstand the nature of assault. Strictly speaking, an assault is not the application of physical force to a person. That's battery. Assault is simply causing a person to apprehend the immediate use of force. So shaking your fist at someone is assault. Punching them is battery. The question was whether the awful threats made by this horrible person were assaults. Did they cause the recipients to fear immediate physical harm? The Court of Criminal Appeal found that they did not. Justice Lee said the evidence in the present case went no further than to merely show that threats had been made to various callers, and serious threats they were. But as to there being any evidence that those threats were threats of immediate violence, it is clear that they were not. They were mere threats which may have been executed at any time, if at all. As a result, Knight was acquitted. His conduct was still appalling, and if he was to do the same thing now, there are a range of newer offences, especially stalking, under which he would be convicted. But from this case we learn that merely making threats is not in itself an assault, unless those threats raise in the victim the immediate apprehension of the use of physical force. General threats of force at some unknown time are not assault.